can pressure the quarterback. He can play the pass, drop back in his zone, go man to man. And this cornerback tandem is going to give the Redskins defense a lot of flexibility in what they can do on their blitzes, which they need because they still don't have a pass rush. They have a defensive line in general, if I'm being honest. They have all the pieces of a good defense except their defensive line, which is probably the most important thing there is. Um, Number 4 is the St. Louis Rams. Now, division rival. I'm not going to say I particularly like them, but from an subjective viewpoint, you can't help but keep an eye on Torrey Holt, who's got every chance in the world to possibly become the second greatest receiver of all time, maybe even the best. I don't want to say it's impossible. I know Rice is way up there, so far ahead of everyone else. But this guy's only been around 8 years, so he could play 8 more. He's already got his 10,675 receiving yards, 64 touchdowns, 712 receptions. That's actually pretty incredible. I didn't know he had that many. So we're going to keep an eye on him because he's going to be chasing some records, barring injury, in 5 to 6 to 7 years. So we're going to see how he does this upcoming season. And then on the other side, of course, you got Isaac Bruce, been around 13 years, probably his last season, 14th. Last year had a comeback, 1,000 yards, 3 touchdowns. If he can mount another 625-yard season, which I fully expect him to do, he's only gone under that 3 times in his career, and it was largely because of playing time in all those 3 years. He can get over 14,000 career receiving yards, which should get him into the Hall of Fame. He should pass 950 receptions, another good barrier to set up for the Hall of Fame. And touchdowns, I think he can pass 85. So we're just going to keep an eye on him, see if he can keep rolling right into the Hall. I think he's got a great shot to pull it off. Moving on. This is just one player, really. Brett Favre. I know he gets too much attention. I know you can say whatever you want about him hanging around too long. You're probably right, but fact of the matter is, this guy already has the record for most consecutive starts in a career and most completions. He's going to extend on those records as much as he can this season, because I'm sold on the fact that this is going to be his last. He should set the record for most attempts in a career, most touchdowns in his career, most interceptions in a career. He's going to set all these quarterback records this year, so we can't help but keep an eye on him. He might break the career passing yard record. He needs to have a solid season to pull that off, but it's likely. So we definitely have to keep an eye on him because, well, he's going to go down in history as the best quarterback statistically for at least the next 5 to 6 years. So definitely going to keep an eye on how he does this season. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts offense. I'm just going to make a big blanket over this entire offense because you got Peyton Manning taking the snaps from center. And 4 to 5 years down the road, he's going to start pushing those records that Brett Favre is going to set this year. He's going to start pushing the Marinos, the Montanas, the Elways, the Favres, the whoever in touchdowns, completions, yards, and whatever other quarterback statistic that you want to track. So we're going to keep an eye on how he performs this year. Is he going to throw for over 4,000 yards again? Can he keep his touchdown to interception ratio at 3 to 1? Just keep an eye on him, see how he's chasing history. He's still got a little less than half of his career ahead of him, so, yeah. Definitely got to keep an eye on him. And you got Marvin Harrison. He's going into his 12th season, probably has 2 or 3 years left. He's not much longer for the NFL, I think. Although he doesn't get hit very often, so that bodes good for his future. He might end up staying around longer than I give him credit for. But anyways, he's got 1,000 career receptions. Should pass 1,100 this season with relative ease. And all-pro season, the kind he's had 4 times in his career from 99 to... Oh, I'm sorry, actually, he's done it 5 times in his career, in 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, and 2006. If he can have an all-pro season, have over 1,300 reception yards, he's going to go over 15,000, and that's a great milestone. Should go over 130 touchdowns. We just got to watch this guy because he's one of the great players in NFL history. Could challenge Rice's records. Just a great part of this Indianapolis offense. And on the other side, you got Reggie Wayne, who broke out last year in Pro Bowl form, 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. Obviously, I think this guy is in the right offense and has the talent, even though he's a possession receiver, to be a future Hall of Famer, and he's going to have to take over for Harrison pretty soon. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on this guy as he continues to complement Harrison. And then introducing into the slot, we got Anthony Gonzalez, rookie, first-rounder, Ohio State. That means there are now, I believe, 6 first-rounders in this offense. All 3 primary receivers were first-rounders. Gonzalez, last pick of the first round. He's still a first-rounder. He played the slot at Ohio State, played it very well. Didn't put up monster numbers, but he was behind the likes of Ted Ginn and Santonio Holmes. I think this guy can be a 1,000-yard receiver in this offense. Give him maybe a year or 2 to get integrated. I expect him to have a solid rookie season, 500, 600 yards, maybe 5 touchdowns. But if Brandon Stokely can do it, this guy is more talented than Brandon Stokely. So if you give him a few years, I think he's going to be another 1,000-yard guy. Eventually, maybe he'll even be the number 2. And then at tight end, you got Dallas Clark, first-rounder, hasn't quite lived up to his potential in any one season. He showed that he's a potentially elite player in the postseason last year, I think. Played great in the postseason on their Super Bowl run. Watch him. Joseph Adai, 1,000 yards last year. Proved he was a great receiving threat, especially in the Super Bowl. Proved he could run the ball. Proved he can block. Now he just has to prove he can do it all without a second back coming off the bench to spell him. Dominic Rhodes is obviously now in Oakland. So we're going to see if he can fully replace Edgar and James in the sense that he can pound it out for 1,500 yards a season. So, in conclusion, when I look at the Colts offense, you got Manning throwing the ball. We all know what he can do. You got Harrison, who you still have to respect. He's still got good speed. You still got to double cover him unless you're talking like Champ Bailey or Terrence Newman. Reggie Wayne, great possession receiver, one of the top receivers in this league. Anthony Gonzalez, he's made for the slot. He'll be playing the slot. Dallas Clark, linebackers are going to have a hell of a time covering him. Joseph Adai, he can run it, he can, catch it. This offense really